Okay. I just wanted to explain to everybody about what's going to happen today and how things are going to run. And this is normally the way they run when we do these meetings, but essentially we'll have a speaker at the very beginning of it for anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes, depending upon how long it goes. And then we'll have questions and answer after that. So hopefully we'll be right around a 30-minute time and allow up to 15 minutes for questions. And then after that, what we're going to do is break out into breakout rooms and allow you to meet the people who are in the room as well as the speaker too as well. So that's kind of the overall strategy of how we're moving forward with this. Just want to give everybody an update on that. And with that, I just wanted to introduce Matt Kontoff, who's our speaker. Matt founded Red Wing Capital as a way to provide smart real estate investments for passive investors looking for stable returns typically earned from multifamily apartment syndication investments. And he's managed over a period of 30 years while working as a software engineer. He has been active in the daily operation as well as overseeing renovations for properties too as well. Matt has invested in over 1,000 doors across several asset classes. And in his spare time, he likes to hike, ski, play tennis, and volunteers at a synagogue. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to Matt so he can talk to you a little bit about Bali and some of the lessons and insights that he has to that.
Thanks, Charles. Appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. I have a little slide presentation. It's more of a journey of where we are today and how we got here, and it's kind of should be a little entertaining. With that, I will start the slide presentation. Okay. Everybody see that?
Yep.
Great. Okay. So this is about a hotel that we're building in Bali, Indonesia. This is an imagined entry to the hotel. This isn't the real entryway, but this is sort of the vision that we have for the entryway. Obviously, this is not a solicitation or anything. This is just really a presentation of information on our project and progress so far. So you can, I'm not going to read this. I think we have all seen this before. So without further ado, we'll get going here. And we're building a hotel in Bali. So where's Bali? That's in Indonesia, which is in Asia, out in the ocean there. Bali is known for I don't know if you heard of the Ticket to Paradise movie with George Clooney and Julie Roberts. That was shot there. The Eat, Pray, Love movie takes place in Ubud, which is really very close to where we're building. And there's wonderful mountain views and river views and ocean views. And it's just a very ecologically driven development. So there's just so much to do there in Bali. 80% of their income comes from tourism. There's beaches and waterfalls and snorkeling and spas and surfing. And there's, other stuff. There's a monkey sanctuary. You can see a picture of it here. There's a bird park. And Ubud is also the spiritual center of Bali. So there's lots of temples in that area. And you can see there's the whole raft of other things that I didn't mention. There's a glass bridge. You can see the rice fields. There's actually now swings, big, giant, massive swings that you can use for the day. So here's the island of Bali. X marks the spot. That's where the gold is buried. And this is our land over here that in the red. We have a 20-year lease on this land that we secured a couple of years ago, and we're 2 years into it. And we have the option to renew the lease within 5 years at the current market rates instead of waiting to the end of the 20-year lease, at which point the rates will be much, much higher. So that's a bonus for us. And that's one of the things that we're going to do as soon as we can. We also plan to expand into the land next door. You can see below this area here. I don't know if you can see me with the pointer. So one of our goals is to eventually build the hotel and then expand into this area. So we didn't initially start building a hotel though. Our initial plan was to build a bunch of villas. We were going to to build 10 to 12 custom villas, actually starting with one as a model. And then from that, we would take orders for 10 or 12 other villas, and folks could come in and they could customize how many bedrooms they want, if they wanted a pool or not a pool, and such. And after that, we were going to build some cottages. We were going to do this. We needed a general real estate permit. And so we got an architect. We designed these villas. This is a artist's concept of what it might look like. So we hired construction folks and we started building. This is actually our site plan initially. You can't really tell which is which here, but the bigger items here are the villas. The smaller ones are going to be cottages that we're going to use for short-term rentals. So we start building. You can see over here on the left that this is essentially the frame of the first villa. There's a bunch of guys on the roof, roofing the place. And some of the cement's held up by wooden supports underneath there, you can see. It's obviously kind of a messy construction site. On the right here, you have one of the workers coming downstairs on a temporary stairs, and he's wearing flip-flops. So over in Bali, there's no such thing as OSHA. And I've seen flip-flops. I've actually seen barefoot workers as well. So anyway, partway through construction, we found out that we couldn't get a general real estate permit, rather. We just got a hotel permit. And so a hotel permit limits us to 4 steel and glass structures like this one, not a dozen. So we had to pivot a little bit, and we said to ourselves, okay, we'll build this, we'll sell 3 more. Well, when I say sell, it's more of a lease. We lease the land, we don't own the land. Land can only be owned by Indonesian nationals. So we are just leasing the land. And we were going to lease a long-term lease the villas to other customers, like, 25-year lease. Now we can build 3 more of those structures and then build the rest of the hotel after that. So here is this first villa. It's almost done. And this is a little walking tour. It's kind of cool. It's got all the glass, it's its own pool, decking, and it's got a view of this little rainforest, which is our land here. I don't think you can hear the monkeys yet. On the right is the bathroom, I think. Can't really see how awesome it is, but it's got all this lovely tile. This is basically a living area. I think this is a bar with some unique ornate marbling and really neat little floors. Here we have more of what's been completed to date. So my partners and I have invested and built a villa. It's furnished here in this picture, and this on the left, this is some sort of interesting light table down on a lower deck. It's kind of funky. This is what Eddie brought in. And on the right, you can see some of the landscaping. And this video will sort of walk us through a little bit of the landscaping. This is gorgeous. I mean, this is so unique. It's really one of a kind how Eddie put this all together. And this is Eddie's office. We'll see Eddie in a few screens. Okay, here's the team. So who am I doing with this with? This is basically how I got involved. On the left, we have Michelle, who I've known since I was a kid. Our parents were friends. And she called me up about a year and a half ago and said, hey, Matt, I've got some land, and do you want to help me develop it? We're going to build some villas and sell them and make a ton of money. And her partner is Eddie in the middle there. And they've been in business together in the jewelry business for about 25 years. So they know each other really well. And Eddie is a designer and a developer. So his background includes villa construction. So he's done the Villa Conti, which is a really luxury villa with something like 35 acres or something. He helped build the Villa Lumburg Hotel, was a 70 unit hotel. He designed and built this bird park with exotic birds and fantastic landscaping. So he's really the visionary for the luxury boutique hotel that we're building. My experience is sort of spread out over across a bunch of states in apartments, an RV park, new construction as a GP and an LP. And I also own an Airbnb in Vermont, a little ski chalet here. The two new builds I've actually been watching unfold, and they are not without their issues. This one in Arizona is doing quite well. The one in Texas, they had a bit of a general contractor hiccup and they're trying to recover. But I think at the end, they'll figure it out and solve the problems that need to be solved. So why Bali? You can see hotel performance chart and trends. This is basically pre-COVID, and over here is post-COVID. And this is actually an older chart. The numbers now are even much better. So here we're looking at the occupancy, which as of July is 69%. The ADR, which is the average daily rate, and here it's measured in Indonesian rupiah. There's about 15,000 rupiah per dollar, and the RevPAR, the revenue per available room, has also been increasing as well. So we're really poised to time this perfectly. So one of the things that we did get, as I mentioned, we got a hotel permit. Since then, the Regency has not given out any more hotel permits. I think we were the last one or one of the last ones. So that reduces the competition that we'll have. So we have actually a timeline, a construction timeline of 18 to 24 months. We have permits, we have architectural plans, we have a site map, and we're basically ready to continue building the hotel. So, but wait a minute, whoops, what happened here? Remember I mentioned the land that we were thinking of expanding into? Well, this is it. The owner decided to sell the dirt, literally. You can see down here the road on the lower left, you see a little moped or whatever, scooter going by, and the backhoe piling up the dirt. So now we cannot expand onto their land. Here's another picture of the crater that they created. And this crater, this hole can actually be seen from space. Here's a before and after picture from Google satellite view, and you can see right here where they dug. This is where we were planning to build. So we had to pivot a little bit. We can't build there. We actually have to build a retaining wall so our land doesn't flood or slide into his land. That's one issue. You can also see that the villa that we built is right here. So this kind of changes things a little bit. This is our site plan that we had. I should probably move this up. This is our new hotel layout. So these big buildings here, these three, were going to be villas made of steel and glass, but now they're going to have to be of wooden materials. We can't. The steel and glass ones have to have really deep footings. And now that the land next door is gone, the land isn't stable enough to put those in. So we decided that, okay, we're not going to build those steel ones. We'll just make them a little bit lighter and build them out of wood with pointy roofs and such. And those will be VIP villas with pools. There'll be more VIP villas in this area. And on the left here, this are your standard villas. And each villa, each lodge, not villa. These are lodges, excuse me. Each lodge has 1 or 2 rooms. We'll be able to rent each room individually, but if folks want to join 2 rooms together, they can. Over here, we have the spas and wellness center. We have a restaurant and a pool and a lovely little lobby area. So what we need to do now is we've got to keep going. We're going to start building the hotel. So we're going to start with the structures nearest the river, just because of access. And that's the spa and the restaurant and the deluxe and VIP lodges. And then from there, we'll build some of the other lodges and smaller buildings on site. So we're gonna have gorgeous furnishings. So Eddie is the genius behind this vision, and he's gonna bring in some amazing furnishes and finishes to the property. He'll be designing the restaurant. We're going to have all kinds of amenities, including airport shuttles. And then we're going to open. We hope to open in a couple of years after we start construction. So remember I talked about the land. We have a 20-year lease on about 3 3/4 acres. And right now, the average market price for land is about $9,200 per acre. And we paid about $4,000 per acre, $4,000 to $5,400 per acre. So the value of the land that we're leasing is basically double. So that's good. This is a picture here from our land looking north. You can actually see the river down below. Okay, so these are pictures that Eddie sent over. This is basically his creative genius at work here. These are just our vision, his vision basically of what we might build, and they're just really unique kinds of rooms. Lots of artistry, lots of Balinese specific touches. We're also going to build a lagoon that looks like this, and hopefully with fewer rocks so people can swim. But people will be able to wade in and play in the water. And this is going to be right in front of our restaurant as well. On the left is a sample lobby under a joglo. So a joglo is basically a pavilion. It's made out of teak, and some of them are ornately carved. And then when you just reconstruct the joglo in place, and then you add the furniture, and you can put glass walls around, and you actually have a building. Pretty simple. So like I mentioned, we're going to have a lot of features and facilities at this hotel. We plan to have airport transfers, full spa experience. We'll be able to book tours and other services. We'll have a gift shop and a gallery. Here's some amenities. Let me read all of these all at once here. So we have, no, I'm not kidding, I'm just kidding. This is a lot of amenities. But as you can see, all this makes it a luxury boutique experience for our guests. So in addition to hotel and restaurant income, there'll be income from spa and from weddings and tour bookings and art sales, all generating basically a 30% commission on those features. We do have some competition nearby. I mean, here are just some comps that I've done some research on, since similarly priced, and they're in the same vicinity. Here's Ubud here. These are all within a half an hour away. And you can see the comps. Here's another view of the river looking northwards. So our hotel, our rates are between 250 and 3,500. The 3,500 rate is for the deluxe lodge, and that comes with a 24-hour valet and maybe a car, whatever services that you can think of. So here's some more inspirational photos. This picture on the right is actually a mountain that's visible from the Petanu Hotel and the property. You know, there's some beautiful pools overlooking the rainforest. These are just meant to be inspirational. We may do something similar. We'll see what Eddie has up his sleeve. And then this is an ongoing investment right now. It's a 506c syndication. We do have draft legal documents in hand. And you know, we can go over some of these numbers if you like. This is the pitch part. If you're interested in investing, we're anticipating an average annual return of 36% with a hold period of 5 to 7 years. The partners, myself, Eddie, and Michelle, have already spent about $2 million on the property so far with entitlements and building the villa and infrastructure. And we need to raise about 10.6 million to complete the rest of the hotel. Anyway, that's it. I hope there's some questions at the end. Here's how you can view more. It's redwingcap.com/thepetanu. That will take us to the portal, and you can download the offering memorandum. And here's how to reach me, matt@redwingcap.com. And I have actually one bonus video that I want to show and share with you guys. This is a low-budget drone view of the property. Eddie is up on a crane, and he's just lowering himself down. It's like a poor man's drone, and he's just swinging in the breeze. He has really no control of where he's going. Anyway, so that's that. Any questions? Any comments?
Hey, I have a question.
Shoot.
Great presentation. I've been to Bali, beautiful place. How are you financing the debt portion of the build, or is there any debt portion?
No debt.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no debt.
Cool.
Yep.
Any other questions?
Thought of another question. I saw the way you're raising equity with a 10% pref. What's the carry on that?
It's an 80-20 split.
Cool, thanks.
Yep. So I'm curious about your Bali experiences. Jigesh, is that right?
That's right. Here, I'll turn. Yeah, so I went to Bali last year. We did about 10 days there. We were in Uluwatu, Ubud, and Seminyak. We felt like each place was a little bit different. Uluwatu is like the surfer village, kind of slower, quieter, calmer. Ubud was very cultural, touristy, and had a lot of interesting things. I think that was my favorite part of the trip. And then Seminyak was a lot more modern with nightclubs and, well, not nightclubs, but like pool clubs and bars and restaurants and stuff like that. So that overall, it was like a great experience. Got a little bit of everything. And then the people were just very, very nice. We had a driver, and that he was kind of on my WhatsApp, and he would pick us up every day and take us wherever we wanted, and would make suggestions and things like that. And so The people were great.
Yeah, it's a very different culture. It's very simple culture. There's a level of naivete with the people. And one of the things that we've learned is that they don't like to say no, and they don't, they just want to say yes. So if you ask them, you have to ask the right questions to get the actual information that you need. So that's kind of tricky.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they are very nice.
Hmm. And we stayed at boutique hotels throughout the trip, so it was interesting. Like the first one in Uluwatu was called Village Bali, and it was two guys from Europe who had just built it like during the pandemic. I think they were supposed to open during the pandemic, and the pandemic happened, and they pushed out the opening. Um, and then similarly, the second one we stayed at was, I think it's a local resort, like a local change. I think I don't know how to pronounce it, but Dijiwa. I saw
Oh
one of
yeah,
the properties.
that's one of our comps. Yeah.
Yeah, and they have another property in Ubud, which I can't remember exactly what it's called right now, but I think they have a few properties. I looked at their website,
Mhm.
um, and so that one was also great. And then the third one was at Seminyak, and yeah, very modern boutique
Yes,
hotel.
Seminyak is much more built up and crowded and busier, and yeah,
Yeah.
this is a little bit of rainforest. It's pretty much away from stuff,
Mm.
even though it's just a little over a mile to the beach. It's sort of on the outskirts of the Sukawati neighborhood, and there's actually a mall that you can actually walk to around the corner.
Very cool.
Cool.
Blue
So
Karma, that was the hotel.
Karma,
Blue Karma.
oh, Blue Karma, okay.
Yeah.
So basically, as we're going through this, it's a series of problem solving and pivoting, and it really is, at the end of the day, if you can solve the problems that you run into and the curveballs, then and try and mitigate any unforeseen issues that may crop up, which it's a different country. I was just in shock when the neighbors started selling their dirt. I'm like, who does that? We were talking to them to eventually rent their land, and they're like, well, you're not going to do it now, so I need some money. I'm going to sell my dirt. So that made me think, what else can go wrong, right? We have to have some sort of serious risk mitigation meetings to figure out. But there's land on the other side that we may expand into as well, above where I was showing.
What is the risk in you renting the land versus owning the land? And what was the decision? How did you make the decision to rent the land versus buying the land? Because you guys are building substantial stuff on leased land.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So it wasn't really a choice. None of the three of us are Indonesian natives, and only Indonesians are allowed to own land. So we did the next best thing, and that was to lease it. So we have a lease for 18 more years, and we can renew the lease for 35 more years after that. So we'll have at least a 50-year lease going forward. And then at a certain point, we'll probably sell the hotel. That lease will go with the hotel, and the next owners can continue the lease in perpetuity. Keep renewing every 30, however many years. At the end of the lease, if you decide to end your lease and walk away, the owners of the land get everything that you built. So it's great for them if they, if you have any permanent structures there.
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
I'm curious, like, can you get debt on this because it's leased land, or like, is there a potential to exit by refi, or is it exit by sale only?
Well, if we were to refi, so again, debt is not available to non-Indonesians. So we're raising the entire amount to build the hotel, and we believe 10.6 is enough to build the first phase of the hotel before expanding.
And then so it says exit within 5 to 7 years. Is that 5 to 7 post construction, or is that 5 to 7 from?
From today, yeah, from now, from when we start construction. So we'll have a couple of years when there's no income. We'll operate it for 3 or 4 or 5 years, and decide at some point when it's right to sell.
Thanks.
Yep. Anybody else? Nope. Okay. Well, Charles, I want to thank you for letting me present my little hotel project. Appreciate it. I hope it was well received. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. You can reach me at matt@redwingcap.com. And I'm also on LinkedIn.
Good, man.
Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate you coming out and taking the time to do this.
Oh, my pleasure.
Let me stop the recording.